Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. I'd like to thank the participants of the Tesselate first garden demonstration series. Those of you that attended the soil demonstration and participated in the miniature compost build. This is your compost being built partially by your hands and a little assistance from me. It's day 16, so we're expecting to see pretty much what you saw in the day 14 video. I do expect for the wheat straw to be broken down a little bit more. I expect for the pile not to be as hot as it was the last couple of times I checked. I do expect for the color to still be a dark brown, maybe a little darker. Moisture levels should be about the same because it is holding moisture, and that's good news. So thanks again to the participants, and thanks again to Village Gardens Agricultural Materials Trading. We thank them for partnering with us through this, for supplying much of the materials, and for supplying that beautiful venue. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank those that participated in the second installment on water. So without further ado, I'll turn the camera off and open it up. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, of course the top is cool, but that's mainly because the wind is blowing. So I'm going to check inside to see the temperatures, and it's hot, but not nearly as hot as it has been, and that's to be expected. The further I go down, of course, it does get warmer. It's to the point now where it's stinging my fingertips, and so that tells me that microbiology that we've been talking about is still going on. And just like the videos before, I do believe that the culprit is that wheat straw. Out of all of the things we put in the pile, the wheat straw seems to be taking the longest. I would not doubt, though, that this is pretty nutritious stuff, and we could grow in it right now if we wanted to. But what we want is we want the best possible quality, or the highest possible quality compost that we can get. So we're going to keep on running on until day 18 and possibly even day 20 to see if we can get the majority of this broken down, to see how nice of a compost we can get. But I tell you what, just looking at it right now, this is some impressive stuff. Let me dig some out of the middle, that hot middle. But what you see me doing right now, I wasn't able to do it all between day 6 and day 12. It was just too hot for me to even grab like this. So it's hot, but not as hot as it has been. But that's nice, deep, dark, rich stuff, but it can actually get richer. So that's what we're going to try and do. Squeeze test, just to check. And there's just a little bit of moisture there coming out, and I'm squeezing pretty hard. You can see my hand flexing, but that's it. Barely even a drop, but that's good. We've got that nice stickiness going to it. I think we've got a good compost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off and turn this some more. Okay, and I'm back. That's it. It's turned. This is your day 16 pile. It's looking great, like I said before. We still got a little ways to go on the wheat straw, but other than that, we've got some pretty much good compost. I honestly think we could grow in it already, but why would you stop early when you've got 2 more days? Or possibly we'll even give it another 2 days and go to 20 to get a complete breakdown of everything. Nice crumb structure, water holding capabilities. Now mind you, I haven't watered this pile since about day 4, maybe day 6, and I haven't used the water hose at all after that. So the original amount of water that we put on there pretty much, and a little bit of sprinkle because I had one dry spot on one side of the pile and haven't had to water since. So this is proof that our compost pile is actually holding the moisture. It keeps heating up, which means it's working on all of those browns in there and getting this compost pile to where we're ready to grow. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next video. Okay, and there it is. That is your 18-day compost. It is pretty much ready to go. I can see from where I'm standing that wheat straw, a lot of it is still very visible. There are whole strands of it that are obviously still what they are. But that happens sometimes with an 18-day compost. Also, if you look really closely, you can see a couple of stems from some of the woodier green pieces that I tossed in the pile. I think I tossed maybe a couple of pumpkin leaves that I had laying around from my pumpkin patch that you've probably seen in the background of the videos. Also, I've got some bush that grows quite nicely here. I chopped some of those down, and some of those, the stems from the bush are still evident. That's fine. What you can do, if you wanted to go ahead and grow in this, you could basically just sift the large pieces out of it and go ahead and start growing. I think it's a great mix. It has wonderful moisture holding capacity. Once again, I don't believe I've added water to this pile since day 6. So that's pretty good. Just covering it and turning it, and I haven't had to add water to it in 12 days. So that's pretty good. So what I want to do now is move closer to the pile, of course. Stick my hand in the middle to see what the temperature's like, which I'm imagining it should not be that hot at all. It's going to be warm. It's a compost pile. They stay warm, but hot like it was between days 6 and day 12, it shouldn't be that hot. It really shouldn't. It's not a problem if it is. It just means that the microorganisms have something else to feed on, and that everything in the pile has not completely broken down. And it's up to you, the gardener, how fine you want your compost to be, or how refined, I guess you say, you want it to be. So it's up to you. So I'm gonna go over there and do what we normally do, which is stick my hand in there, grab a couple of clumps and see what the moisture's like. Let's get to it. All right. Yeah, most definitely, I feel the heat from the pile already. And I probably said it enough times, I really do believe that this wheat straw is just a tough customer. But as you see, I've got my hand in here, and I'm not screaming or jerking my hand away. The further I go down, that's hot. I don't like it, but it's probably not scream-worthy like it was earlier. But in the center of that pile, it's hot, which tells me it's still working. It's still working on a lot of this organic matter. But this is actually some beautiful stuff. I'm tempted to take it and start growing in it now, because what I'll do is I'll bring over a handful of the native soil, and then you can see for yourself why you could go ahead and grow in this versus what native soil looks like. I'll step away for a second and grab you some. This is native soil, if you can call this soil. Actually, really it's just sand. There might be some clay elements in here. That might be what that red color you see there is, but it's really hard to get air in here. The way it responds to water is not always reliable. Oftentimes, especially if you do traditional irrigation, if you do traditional irrigation and you water from above, oftentimes the water just runs off. It doesn't seep into the sand at first, or it somehow pops all of the air bubbles and then kind of removes all the air from the soil, which is not a good medium to grow in. But just color-wise in the background, you can see the difference between what I'm growing in. So, is this compost like 100% perfect? No, it's not. Is it ready to grow in? Absolutely. There you go. So this versus that, we have an excellent product over there. But I feel I want to try and push it for 2 more days. Full disclosure, this is the first time I've ever used the packaged wheat straw, and I'm not necessarily 100% sure of the source. I'm not sure exactly where it was from, whether it was from Sudan or whether it was from farther away. Maybe one of the Western countries that grow wheat and other things. I'm not 100% sure, but it appears not to be breaking down as fast as I would like it to. And that pile is still hot enough in the middle to feel like it's working on something. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to push this to day 20 out of my own personal interest. It's absolutely up to you guys. If you'd like to see this on video, please comment under the video or contact us at Tesselate, either on our Instagram or otherwise, and let me know if you'd like to see what it looks like if you push past day 20. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn the pile like we normally do and see what it looks like. I'll turn off the camera and get to work. Okay, here we are. We're up close on the pile, so you can kind of get some details. All right, and as you can see, that deep color though is awesome. You know, compared to, like I showed you earlier, compared to what the native soil looks like, this stuff is absolutely amazing. I'm not bothered at all by the chunks, but for demonstration's sake, look at that. For demonstration's sake, I would like to see how long this wheat straw takes to break down into something much finer than this. But this is perfectly fine for most things you want to grow. They will grow on this. It's got plenty of nutrients, I imagine. And that texture is wonderful. Moisture holding, I might be able to get that one drip out of it. It may maybe in the next turn or two if I go any further, but I probably won't, because I'm not itching to grow on this. I don't absolutely have to grow in it within the next 2 days, so it wouldn't hurt us at all to see what would happen if we allow the process to go on for another 2 days. But this is 18-day compost. It is absolutely ready. You can grow just about whatever you want in here, at least in our region, while the weather permits. So this feels kind of dry here on top. I'd rather get something from the middle that hasn't been affected by the wind. And let's see if we've got that clumping effect that we were looking for. Let's grab something from the center. There we go. Here's a pile of it. All right, that's that clump that we were talking about, that hold. So that's good. All right, there's that crumb structure, and you see how it crumbles right back up? That's exactly what you want. And that seems to keep down compaction when you're watering. But let's see, let's grab another handful, a smaller one, and see if we can squeeze that drop out of it like we've been doing. And look at that. It still has moisture after 12 days of being turned, temporarily exposed to the air, temporarily exposed to the wind out here, and it's still holding moisture. Ladies and gentlemen, you can grow in this, and you can do this yourself right here in the UAE. Build your own fertility, build the soils back up to probably where they were once a long time ago, and we can grow things in the UAE. Thank you very much for hanging on. If you'd like to see a day 20, I'm going to wrap this up and take a look at it in 2 days. If you'd like to see day 20 footage, please comment under this video and or contact us at Tesselate. Thank you very much.